Hey everyone, welcome back. I have a quick video for you today to show you what our spring/summer garden looks like. So let's take a tour really quick. In this first box, I have tomato monstrosity. I have 5 tomato plants in here, and they've completely overgrown this whole area. I actually am a little bit disappointed because I bought 2 tycoon tomatoes, which I'll link a video I did last year on why I love growing tycoon tomatoes so much. Well, I thought I had bought 2 tycoon tomatoes, but I guess one of the tomato plants got mislabeled and I ended up buying 2 cherry tomato plants. 1 cherry tomato plant is more than enough for my husband and I to eat, and 2 is going to be insane. So I'm sure I'll be getting cherry tomatoes to all of my friends and coworkers probably for the next few months. So I guess it's not all that bad, but I probably would have rather had a tycoon tomato. But these are the tomatoes we have. So I have a tycoon, 2 cherries, a celebrity tomato, and then I have 1 heirloom which I was trying out this year, and they all look pretty good. I've got a lot of tomatoes growing. None of them are quite red yet. We've gotten 1 tomato out of it, but they are still coming along. Here's a whole bunch right here. I think maybe in a few weeks they'll start turning red. They're just starting to get going. So this is our tomato forest, and this section I had planned to do a big flower garden, and it really hasn't taken off this year, which I'm kind of disappointed about. I've got a sunflower and some zinnias that are trying to break through right now, and then lettuce that has just completely overgrown. I probably need to start taking that out. So over here we have my dead tangelo. It didn't make it from the winter, unfortunately. I do have some new growth growing down here, but it's all growing below the grafts, so I don't know exactly what kind of plant it is. I think I might end up taking it out and just composting it, because you really need the new growth to grow above the grafts so you know exactly what kind of plant it is. I've got some herbs in here, and then I actually have a wild blackberry. We had some blackberries over here, which I think rooted into the ground and ended up coming through my box. So I've just kind of been letting this thing do its thing and hang out, and maybe I'll start trellising it pretty soon. I'm growing some corn here, which I'm really excited about. This is actually my 3rd year attempting to grow corn, and this is the only year I've actually gotten it to actually get this far, so I'm super pumped. Ignore the weed mess. The one thing about growing corn in the ground is that the weeds have definitely been terrible. I feel like I come out here almost every other day and pick weeds, and they just grow up the next day. So it's been hard to stay on top of the weeding, and I need to be better about that. So maybe this weekend will be a big weeding day for the corn. But they look pretty good so far, and hopefully we'll have some corn in maybe the next few weeks. So I've got my high bush blueberries here. We added a new bush to the collection just a few weeks ago, and I have an update video that I'll link here for you guys to check out if you want more information on the high bush. Next to it I have my other sad tangelo plant. This one actually did a little bit better. Its new growth is growing above the graft, so I'm going to keep this one in here. I think we might change our strategy on how we're growing citrus trees here, because they're just not really lasting through the winter. I think I might end up digging this one out, putting it in a pot with casters, and leaving it out here during the warmer months, and when there's a hard freeze coming, I think we'll end up putting it in our barn for a few days to make sure that it doesn't completely die back like it did here. So more information to come on this. I need to think about more how I want to do this, but if you have any citrus trees and you have an issue like this where it's just a little bit too cold for them, and if you have any suggestions for me, let me know, because I'm open to suggestions with this. I'd love to grow citrus, but unfortunately it's just not doing very well. And then planting a bunch of different pepper varieties here, some sweet, some jalapenos, and excited to have peppers and hopefully homemade salsa in a few weeks. So over here is our last box. This box has been very interesting. I'm growing a bunch of garlic and onions in here, and I decided that last year I grew way too many sweet potatoes. I'll link my sweet potato video here, but we're still eating sweet potatoes, and the one thing I love about sweet potatoes is that they'll last for maybe even a year if you keep them in a cool, dry spot in your pantry, and they're still doing really well, even though I harvested them last October and it's now May. So I love that about them. But The only thing is they really start taking over the garden right about now. These are sweet potato vines, and I decided I just wanted to grow sweet potatoes in this box. And these vines are just left over from last year's sweet potatoes. Since they're a root, it's impossible to dig up every single root when you're going through and harvesting them. And so some of them are left in the ground and they just regrow. And so these are just from left in the ground from last year. And I would like to keep them, but unfortunately they're really starting to take over my onions, and I need them to coexist a little bit more with my onions, because these onions probably only have about maybe 3 to 4 weeks left and I can harvest them. So I just need my sweet potato plant to like chill out for 3 more weeks before it starts like choking these out, and I can get some onions pretty soon. I'm growing some lettuce here, and I've got some crazy radishes I need to harvest. They've already gone out to seed, but I thought they were really pretty with these flowers, so I just kind of left them in here for now. And then this is our crazy potato patch, excuse me. I've got a bunch of different potatoes in here. This is actually my first year growing potatoes, and I didn't realize like how much space they would take up or how many potatoes they're probably gonna make. So I'm sure we'll probably be eating a lot of potatoes in a few weeks. So if you want any potatoes, let me know. We're gonna have a ton. So this is kind of what's been growing in our garden. And let me show you one last spot. So this aisleway in between our garden box and my rabbit eye blueberries over here, you're probably thinking, wow, this girl does not know how to take care of her garden. There's just weeds everywhere in this entire thing. And this is actually intentional. I planted a bunch of different zinnias and sunflowers and wildflowers in here, and so my hope is that they all come up and it's just a whole bunch of crazy wildflowers and it'll look really cool. So I'm really kind of hoping for this. You'll see there's some that are growing here, and I just left a bunch of weeds in there too, trying to keep it a little bit more natural and see if I can just get just try a little bit more natural approach to gardening. So that's going to be my experiment for this year, and I'll show you guys how that turns out. And then lastly, I have my rabbit eye blueberries over here. I'm also growing some squash in this box, which this zucchini is completely taking over this box. I need to kind of cut it back a little bit because it's encroaching into my rabbit eye blueberry space. But that's all. That is our quick garden tour for this spring and summer. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're growing in your garden this spring and summer. And if you like this video, please give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see y'all again next time.